Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. So you remember that the introduction of some of the new ice barrier cards? Well, I've got some good news for you. We've got a small batch more of them that have come out as new additional support. So the first one is General Wayne of the Ice Barrier. It's a water attribute warrior effect monster. It's level 5 with 2100 attack and 400 defense. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. 1, if your opponent controls a monster and you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. 2, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Ice Barrier spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And 3, any spell or trap cards sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard are banished instead. I love the design on this card. I think it's incredibly balanced and actually works very well for what it needs to do. Firstly, all it requires is if you've got an Ice Barrier on your field and your opponent has any monsters at all, you can instantly summon this, and it's a special summon. There's no other restrictions on it. It's not a case of you can only special summon or set Ice Barrier monsters for the rest of the turn. There is no limitations on other effects based on it, and no reduction of the use of a battle phase. No, you need to go to the end phase. No other restrictions, which is brilliant. The other thing is, even if this card gets gotten rid of on the turn it's summoned, it's traded itself in for an Ice Barrier spell or trap, which, it's basically a rotor for spell or traps within the deck, which is decent. And actually it punishes your opponent when they use their spell and traps, because actually what ends up happening is they get banished. This is especially effective against things such as Breakthrough Skill, or, well, Breakthrough Skill is probably not a good example because that would just actually shut down this card, but there are examples that do have a double utility. They have both an effect on the field and they have an effect in the graveyard. By banishing them, I don't think there are many cards at all which have an effect which activate in the banish zone from a spell and trap perspective. So doing this will basically guarantee you they can't access those cards again. The next card is the Calm after the Ice Barrier's Storm. This is a normal spell. You can only use this card's name on first and second effects once per turn each. 1, attribute any number of Ice Barrier monsters, and special summon the same number of level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monsters with different names from each other from your deck. And 2, during a main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your Ice Barrier monsters that is banished, or in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. The first effect of this card is quite decent, because yes, you are trading in the Ice Barriers you currently have on your field, but if they're not doing anything for you, and you're able to replace them, there's no restrictions outside of them having to be level 4 or lower from your deck, and they have to be different names from each other. There are so many of these cards, these Ice Barriers, which meet those conditions and have brilliant effects in and of themselves, which means there's no excuse to not find something to trade in for if you are under a bit of pressure and just need some more support. The other thing about this is being able to actually get rid of this card to recover one of your Ice Barrier cards, because you might not be running too many of them, or you might have accidentally gotten rid of it through, I don't know, Pot of Desires or something else that's just meant that you've wasted the card. This is a good way of recovery. And the other cards are just kind of reprints. So you've got Prior of the Ice Barrier, you've got the General Raiho of the Ice Barrier, you've got General Gantala of the Ice Barrier, General Grenade of the Ice Barrier, Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier, Medallion of the Ice Barrier, Mirror of the Ice Barrier, and then there we go, the Synchro Monsters. Brionac, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Of course, it's got its errata form now, so you can actually only use this effect once. You can't continually cycle those effects. Gungear, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, still feared as a card, but not so much as the below monster itself. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. So what do you think of the two cards that were mentioned? I think they're very decent and actually will help to push the deck to be quite useful. I'm hoping to see a couple of other cards, but who's to tell whether there's going to be much more support coming after this. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.